I've got a story to tell about my journey to today. It was really bad, and so I found alcohol, and it was my link to happiness. I had been thinking about suicide for a long time, many years, and I was hatching out a plan.
Long after I got back, I got the news that he wanted to end his life.
And I chose my date as August 1st. My name is Jonathan Becker, and I've been attending Destin Athletic Club with my trainer Zoltan Nagy here for almost 8 years. And today I've got a story to tell about my journey to today.
So I'm Zoli, I'm Jonathan's coach, and so I know Jonathan for 8 years. We've been working together in the gym, and we became good friends. That's why all this change was kind of shocking for me from somebody who is so dedicated, not just for his health and fitness, but in every other aspect of his life. He loved cars. He was very passionate about taking care of his cars. He loved building and his construction business, and he was a very good friend and passionate man with with his friends and so on. Long story being short, all this work put a lot of stress in his life, and he had a harder and harder time to deal with it. So I started to worry about it, and I went home to Romania I think in July, and when I not too long after I got back, I got the news that he wanted to end his life.
After almost 40 years of abusing alcohol, from the time I was 15 until the time I was 53, the reason that I abused alcohol so much is because of the way I was brought up by my father, belittled, talked down to, never going to amount to anything. And it just went on and on. Physical abuse, verbal abuse, it was really bad. And so I found alcohol, and it was my link to happiness. And everything that I do is always taken to the extreme. So when I discovered alcohol, that was of course taken to the extreme as well. So throughout high school and all through college, my roommate and I, Scott, had to be the life of the party. And I became a very successful alcoholic. I did everything I was supposed to. I studied, I passed my classes, I graduated. I moved on to start my own business in 1989 after I graduated in '88, and I continued to be successful and continued to drink heavily. Up till about 14 years ago when we moved to Florida, I was in pretty decent spirits. The drinking wasn't that bad as of yet, and then the 2009 downturn came, and of course we all know what happened then. I had a full-blown nervous breakdown with the thought of losing everything that I've worked for 20 years. And I made it through that, of course with all the family help, and got us to the point of around in my early to mid 40s, it just sank in. I had lost everything, and I just had pretty much given up, so I drank more and more. And then for the last 5 to 6 years until I was 53, it was just barely functioning. I made it through my work, I made it through my business. I had all my bills paid, but I was really spiraling down a hole. Around January of 2018, I had been thinking about suicide for a long time, many years, and I was hatching out a plan, and over the next 6 months, just drank more and more. I had my plan together, I had all my bills taken care of, mortgages paid out 3, 4, 5 months for my wife to be well taken care of. and I chose my date as August 1st. Just 1 second. So on August 1st of 2018 was my planned day to exit life as I knew it. I planned very well in my business, so I planned to do this right. And I ordered a pizza, which is my favorite food. And I took it to work and enjoyed it with my wife. And then I came home and I took 150 sleeping pills, about 30 Ambien, and I washed it down with a bottle of vodka. And it was about 2:30. And I don't remember any of it. And I remember waking up in the hospital, and 3 weeks had passed. And the doctors and every nurse told my family and friends that there was absolutely no way that I would live. And they just said, you know, if I lived, I would be totally brain dead. So after a lot of visits from great friends and family, roughly 3 weeks later, they woke me up. And out of some type of miracle, we don't know why, there was no brain damage. And I was functioning, I was alive. I had to learn how to eat. I had to learn how to walk. I could still talk. But my mother was feeding me like she did 50 years ago when I was 3 years old. So after my hospital visit, I had to get in the back of an ambulance and ride to Tallahassee Mental Hospital to comply with the Baker Act since I failed at suicide. So they strapped me down to the gurney, and that was a 2-hour journey to Tallahassee, except there was an accident and we had a 2.5-hour delay. So after 4.5 hours on a gurney, I got checked into the hospital, and it was the worst place I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm not even going to explain what I saw there. And I had to stay there for 72 hours, and the doctor was reluctant, the psychiatrist was reluctant about letting me go. After 72 hours, I was released, and it was coordinated with my parents and my mother-in-law and my wife. And I got in a vehicle with them, and we headed directly north to Helen, Georgia, to probably the most wonderful place I've ever been to. And it's called Black Bear. It's a rehab facility for alcohol and drug addicts. And when I was on the way there, I was trying to figure out in my wife's car how I was going to finish myself off after 30 days when I got home. I wasn't going to screw it up again. I was going to get it right this time, and I thought I was going to get it right the first time. So anyway, I checked in, and then as days went by, things got better, and I started seeing doctors, and they started getting me on the right medication and finding out what's wrong with me. And I had 3 different doctors. I had about 5 nurses. I had two therapists. And as days went by and I started learning and started realizing about all the people that I've hurt and the damage that I've caused, things just started coming back to me, and I started feeling better and better, and I started exercising when nobody there exercises. And it was halfway through, and I just started seeing the light, and I started feeling better. And after the 3rd week, it was even better, and I had my goals. And I wrote down the 17 gifts that I got back at Black Bear that I didn't have when I got there. And they were as simple as self-esteem, personal hygiene, confidence in myself, confidence in not being negative. I mean, everything was just turning. And I was feeling a lot better. And then, with the camaraderie around me in Black Bear, I started thinking, yeah, I can do this. And a week before I left, I told myself that I was going to come back way different than anybody else would have in a situation like this. That I wanted to be like the most awesome badass physically and mentally. When I walked back in here for the first time on October 2nd, 2018, I knew I had a massive amount of work ahead of me. And all I could think about is I wanted to get rid of this physique that just was not me. Of course, we had some stumbles along the way, but I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I really did about a 9.5 for the last 12 months, if not a 10.
Exactly a year ago, October 2nd, 2018, when Jonathan came back first time here in the gym. I didn't know what I'm gonna, put my hand on at that point. He was very overweight, very out of shape, very unconfident, and just a man who went through hell. At that point, minimal strength, minimal cardiovascular fitness, and his coordination and moving ability was very, very much gone. I don't think him, running 100 meter or doing 5 to 10 burpees in a row, would have been possible at that point. But right now, I'm sure he can do about 30 of them, and he could run for an hour if he would have to. Put a lot of action in. Let's see how Jonathan is moving after a year after he was a zombie, I would say, a year ago. A zombie and a skeleton together, and now he's a real athlete. Somebody I'm very, very proud of.
As far as how I felt when I walked in here, I was determined. Nothing was going to stop me.
His strength and his confidence and his ability to cope with the challenges I'm giving him, it's excellent.
But it was also, believe it or not, just a little bit scary. I was coming back from death. I didn't know what was going to happen.
All right, so a year ago, I could do how many?
I would say about 5. In the best scenario, maybe 10, but let's see how many you do now. That's a good prediction of your improvement. Oh, Lord. One. 2.
The most important thing that I learned at Black Bear is the doctor told me, and all the doctors told me, it takes somebody on drugs and alcohol a full year for their brain to return to normal function. I felt mine return to what I thought was normal function after 30 days at Black Bear. That was nothing. After 6 months, I couldn't believe that it was going to get any better. And it has still gotten better until now. Last week was better than the week before. Last month was better than the month before. I couldn't be any happier. I could ramble on for 30 minutes saying how well I've done, how well this is going, how well that's going, but I never thought that I would remotely ever be this happy ever again. It's just been a total miracle. And I'm really proud of what I've done and what Zoltan's helped me to do, as well as my friends and family and my wife. But we're really just getting started with me. I've got a long way to go. The next 6 months is going to be, I'm going to work harder than I did this last year. And my goal is to be a badass Spartan warrior, and I'm going to achieve that goal in the next 6 months.